Tussle Podcast, episode number 28. And we're back. We're back in the house. It's a new year, but the same old Tussle tandem. It is I, KJ Johnson, alongside...
Just John, baby.
Just John. How's it going, my friend?
I've been good, man. A new year, a new season to the podcast, as they say, you know?
Indeed.
So looking forward to it, man.
How were the holidays?
Oh, it was all right. 2022 gave us a couple more kicks before it left, but
Always.
you know, we survived. How was your New Year's, your holidays?
It was fine. I was asleep at 10:30 on New Year's. It was great. It was a great time to be alive.
That's fair. That's fair.
I woke up feeling exactly the same as I did the previous day and had no regrets other than the ones I already had in the year prior.
Listen, New Year's is just a calendar change.
It's another day.
Yeah.
Another day. But
the more you get older, the less it becomes like a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, never again will I celebrate another New Year's. It will never happen in the history of ever. Will I go outside on New Year's Eve?
Don't you want to do the countdown with the balloons? And
never again.
The fireworks.
I remember when our friend group, when I was in that friend group.
You still are.
When we all trudged down to Nathan Phillips Square, and we were about 2.5 hours late because we were waiting for everyone to arrive. And then we all get down there, and we're at the back of the line of Nathan Phillips Square to watch 3.5 minutes of pyrotechnics.
Listen, I love our friend group because every New Year's we were always late to the fireworks.
Always late, and 2 of them got lost in the pack.
Yep.
And then we had to fight and scratch and claw our way home. So for me, that was a horrible time that I will never experience again. But
It was fun. It was for those 3 minutes. It was pretty fun.
A great time. The world of pro wrestling, as we know it,
yes,
is an absolute disaster.
It's been flipped upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After a long, long exile. It's as if he's it's as if he's a whole new man. Clawing back from the jaws of defeat comes Vincent Kennedy McMahon, taking over his company with an iron fist.
Come on, this is the man that fought God. You think a little scandal is going to keep him away?
And he won that match.
Yeah. Come on, so you think that crazy fucking dude is going to just let a little, a little payoff fucking ruin his career? Fuck no.
Obviously not.
He is back, and he is back with a vengeance.
He really is.
Yes.
He wants to sell the WWE to the Saudis.
Yep.
So the Saudis will not only get Cristiano Ronaldo, I believe,
yeah.
but they will also
I'm glad you know.
But they will also get the WWE if they play their cards right.
Listen, 2023 is a big year for the Saudis.
It could be a huge year for the Saudis. The Saudi prince is going to be making bank.
Listen, before the Vince stuff, I was seeing a lot of indie guys, a lot of AEW guys kind of getting ready to go back to Triple H, go back home to WWE. Mm-hmm. After this news, I saw a lot of. I think even Adam Cole made his debut back on AEW. Everything kind of shifted back to normal.
We're seeing the power struggle day by day.
Yeah,
and the whole thing was that they were like, "Listen, all right, Vince is coming back, but he's only going to do the business bit. We have nothing to worry about." Stephanie stepped down.
And they were still like, he's still just gonna be running the company. He's there. Triple H is still creative, but every day he gets more and more power. He's like, no, now Vince is running this.
Yeah.
Well, now he's doing this. And it's like, you know what's coming next.
He's like the shadow monster from Stranger Things. I just started watching. I finished Stranger Things, actually. And the shadow monster that just feeds on people just one after the other and just gets bigger. That is Vince McMahon at this current moment.
Listen, once John Laurinaitis comes back.
Oh, dude.
Because you know it's happening.
Yeah. I have forgotten about that guy. Yeah. I mean, it's Vince being back at the helm. He's ousted a couple of directors.
A couple people stepped down as well.
Yeah. He brought back some of the old ones that he originally fired in the first place.
Yep.
Where does Nick Khan fall into all of this?
Well, he's now that Stephanie stepped down, he's the full-time CEO now. So, and apparently he's the one that's kind of been helping Vince making all these deals and all this stuff. So who knows what's gonna happen? There's rumor, like, Saudi hasn't finished the purchase, so there's still rumors that other people are gonna buy, and it's a wild time to be employed by the WWE.
And it's only been 12 days.
Yep.
12 days into the new year.
A couple wrestlers already saying that there might be a walkout if they're sold to the Saudis. So,
I mean, you've got to think under the rule of Saudi, if that does happen, you've got to imagine that Sami Zayn is going to be in quite a difficult position.
Yeah, and a lot of the female wrestlers as well.
Yeah, they're going to have to cover up in suits 365 days a year.
If they even let them wrestle. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the topsy-turvy world of wrestling.
There's never a dull moment.
No, not at all. But Adam Cole is back. He is back at the helm.
Yep.
He's all medically cleared, which was quite lovely.
Yeah, he did a very emotional promo on AEW, talking about that whole concussion stuff that he was dealing with.
Yes.
So it's good to see him back. And I'm glad that they're not turning him full babyface, because during his promo, it was kind of getting a bit too emotional. I'm fuck, babyface Adam Cole. I was never too much of a fan of that. But they're kind of keeping him kind of like he's like a babyface, but like, kind of like a badass type of thing. So
he's edgy.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see where he fits into all this. There's enough titles to go around, so I'm pretty sure they're going to plug him into a program really quick.
And is it too early to ask you who is winning the Royal Rumble?
No, we only have 3 weeks? 3 weeks to the Rumble.
Well, then who's doing it, Just John? Put your name, put your money on the table. All right.
Listen, it either has to be Sammy or Roman. Oh, I mean, pardon, not Roman. The Rock. The Rock.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Roman anyway. At this point,
it's either Sammy or the Rock. I think the Rock theory is getting a little bit more momentum as the weeks go by. I really don't think it should be him, because he doesn't need the Rumble. But
do you think he's even going to show up? Because I mean,
if the Saudis buy WWE, they're gonna have the money for it.
Throw the money at him.
No, but I don't know. That's the direction they're going with, or that seems like they're going with. I would much rather have Sammy win and have Sammy Roman at WrestleMania, kind of complete this bloodline storyline, and then proceed, leave The Rock for next WrestleMania or whatever big pay-per-view.
40! WrestleMania 40! Pretty sure The Rock is in his early 50s.
Listen, Ric Flair can wrestle at 70 plus.
That's very generous of you to use the term wrestle to explain what he did.
Those are my 2 picks.
Okay.
How about you? What do you got?
I mean, I'm rooting for a Cody Rhodes return myself. I'm rooting for a Cody win.
I have Cody doing the Iron Man spot. I have him going 1 till the very end, because
not winning it.
Not winning, because what better way of following up the Hell in a Cell thing with him doing an Iron Man performance.
Yes.
So I can see that. I don't have him winning just because like the Bloodline storyline's been very like they don't like go away from it except for the Logan Paul stuff. But they're really like focused on telling this Bloodline story. And I don't see how Cody would fit in that unless they do something last minute, you know?
I see. Wow. I mean, can you see Sami Zayn actually beating Roman Reigns, though? Or is he just winning the Rumble in order to fail on the big stage?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of bloodline. This is going to be like a classic, like 2000s, you know, when everyone would interfere type of thing. It'll be kind of like that. And maybe he wins.
Maybe.
Or they just continue Roman Reigns' path of fucking destruction and they just keep him for another year as champion.
Until The Rock is 60.
The Rock beats him at the tender age of 60 years old.
At the ripe old age. Well then, I mean, bold predictions, John.
That's what I got,
predictions.
Man.
And I do believe we might just do ourselves a full-on prediction.
For the Royal Rumble. That'll be fun. There's a couple of decent matches on there.
Yeah. So we might be doing that. But until then, we have ourselves a show to do.
Yes.
We have ourselves Bash at the Beach 1997. It's the Bash. We're back in WCW homeland. It's been too long.
Yep.
It's been too long. We need to get deep in nostalgia. We need to get deep in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's do it, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Of course we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it in style right now. By God, it's the numbers. It's been a long time.
Yeah, last episode we didn't get to do it by the numbers.
No, we didn't. And my heart was torn apart. Oh, how I missed ye. Numbers. And we've got a lot. We've got a lot to get into because, I mean, we're doing the Great American, not the Great American Bash. We're doing the Bash at the Beach. There's too many bashes in WCW. There's too many.
This is Bash at the Beach, man.
This is Bash at the Beach. And let's talk about, let's remind the listeners as to why we are doing this time period. It's because we are doing Hollywood Hogan versus Roddy Piper. We're doing the feud number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, their WCW feud.
That's right. You know? That's right, because they have not connected. Have Roddy Piper and Hollywood Hogan since Super Brawl. I mean, you could argue uncensored. You could argue that in their little 6-man battle royal thingy.
No, that doesn't count.
Exactly,
like one-on-one.
But since then, they have all been off doing their separate things. Roddy Piper has been laying it down with the Wolfpack and Ric Flair. Meanwhile, Hollywood Hogan is sucking face with Dennis Rodman. And while they are romancing with each other, they have come back. They have graced the WCW with their presence in the main event tonight. Hollywood Hogan, Dennis Rodman taking on Luger and the Giant.
Yes.
So, with that being said, the Bash at the Beach taking place July 13th, 1997 in Daytona Beach, Florida. The pay-per-view buys, baby, 250,000, which is hugely up from last year's pay-per-view with 175,000 pay-per-view buys. 7,851.
Jesus Christ.
A sold-out crowd. Absolutely sold out to the rafters. And finally, the gate. The gate being $150,000, 871.
Yep.
Those are the big numbers, the big time. The big time. I wanted to give us a little side note. All right? A little side numbers.
Okay.
All right? I wanted to give us, because we are looking at Hollywood Hogan. Mm-hmm. We are looking at Roddy Piper. Mm-hmm. I wanted to give the viewers a little taste of just who was at the top standing in the hierarchy of professional wrestling.
Okay.
In 1997.
All right, let's hear it.
Hollywood Hogan's WCW contract in the year 1997. At the end of that year, he had made, and I'm going to break it down, the contract itself was worth $3.3 million. His merchandise sale cut $52,413. His licensing deals and everything that was associated with the NWO and him, $94,656, for a total of $3.447 million earned that year. That year. Meanwhile, Roddy Piper's contract, allegedly, I don't believe that they have the full information, but this is the numbers that was provided, and it's probably pretty accurate.
Okay.
His contract was that he got very minimal in the merchandise sales. He got about $20,000. Licensing deals, again, about the $15,000 to $20,000 range. And his full-on contract and the total at the end of the fiscal year, $661,000.
Oh, shit.
To be exact, $661,578 for the man that the previous year had gotten them the best Starrcade buy rate to date, along with their best Super Brawl buy rate to date, to Hollywood Hogan's $3.447 million.
Yeah, and before the show, you did show me their
the 1998
the 1998 contract.
The 1998 contract is even more ridiculous.
Yeah. You were showing me that, so this doesn't surprise me at all. Indeed. Apparently, Hogan was robbing them blind.
He truly
that whole
was.
Time that he was there.
Indeed. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we are dealing with. A man that worked 16 dates a year for televised events, along with
no house shows,
very minimal, maybe 1 to 2. It even says in the contract, reasonable requests and agreed upon dates for Mr. Bolea. So that guy that is working very minimal is still pulling in an astronomical amount of money in comparison to Roddy Piper.
Yeah, so if you're ever looking back at this era and you're wondering why Hogan doesn't show up so much on TV, it's because it would have probably cost him an arm and a leg.
Would have bankrupted them a lot earlier than it did. So it's time for the Would You Rathers. Just John?
Yep.
It's been ages.
It's been a while, yeah.
Exactly. When we last left off, we were looking at June 15th for the pay-per-view that had just passed by. So June 16th is when we have Raw, which earns a 2.36, in which Kama and Farouk take on The Undertaker and Ahmed Johnson in the main event.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Or you get a Nitro rating of 3.33, in which Luger and the Giant face off with Hollywood Hogan and Dennis Rodman in an angle.
Oh. God damn WCW.
What would you rather?
I'll probably go WCW.
You're going the dub.
Yeah.
Okay. From henceforth, I decided, because a lot of the closing segments for Nitro was just an angle of them building up to the next show. Or pay-per-view. I decided to go and look through the catalogs and actually find the last actual match that took place on the show, and that is considered the main event from henceforth.
Okay,
I will give you a little side note of what the actual main event angle was, but you will now, from now on, choose the matches that are provided.
Okay, that's better. All right.
With results for WCW. I have the show results for those matches.
Okay, perfect.
So, coming up next on June the 23rd, Raw pulls in a 2.4 as The Undertaker and Vader team up to face Farouk and a man returning to the podcast. A man who we haven't seen or heard from in many a moon. An underrated legend of Attitude Era nostalgia. I'm talking about D'Lo Brown.
Oh no, god damn it. Fucking hate you. God.
So, it is the man,
I can't escape him.
The man, the myth, the legend on the main event of Raw in 1997. There for you, John. Meanwhile, Nitro pulls in a 3.26, and the main event, Scott Hall taking on Diamond Dallas Page, in which Diamond Dallas Page wins by DQ. What?
WCW.
Well, you know. The more that things change, the more they stay the same. What would you rather?
WCW, 100%.
2 in a row.
Yeah. Fuck D'Lo.
Good heavens. Oh, D'Lo. Poor D. June the 30th, Raw pulls in a 2.48 as a match that we actually seen on the podcast not too long ago. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Jim the Anvil Neidhart in the main event. Meanwhile, Nitro pulls in a 3.33, and it is a massive 6-man attraction as the NWO's Randy Savage and the Outsiders take on Diamond Dallas Page, Lex Luger, and the Giant. And it ends in a no contest.
I was actually getting excited. All right, I'll go Stone Cold and Jim just because I've seen the match before.
Stone Cold and Jim.
Yeah.
Over the massive 6-man tag. Good heavens. Wow. And finally, on July the 7th, Raw grabs us a 2.5 as Bret Hitman Hart, who has not wrestled in ages by this point, he was dealing with a bum leg, taking on Goldust.
Okay.
Nitro pulls in a 3.44. And the last match to take place on that show is the Steiners taking on Monga McMichael and his partner, Chris Benoit with Nancy Benoit. This match ends in Steiner's victory.
I thought you were going to say DQ again. I'm going to fucking just walk away.
The actual main event segment was Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff having an interview promoting the main event.
Okay.
What would you rather for the go-home edition of Bash at the Beach for Nitro?
That's a good one. This is a good one because I like everyone involved in these.
Including Chris Benoit and Nancy Benoit, of course.
I'll go Bret Goldust. Because Goldust in the 90s was so fucking weird. I used to love Goldust.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to love Goldust.
Raw and Nitro break even for Just John.
A good 2-2. I like it.
2-2.
I like it.
And there you go. So that is what we're dealing with as we move into the Bash at the Beach. We have many top quality matches on the docket tonight. We have Roddy Piper and Ric Flair. They're going to be in wrestling action. We have Randy Savage and Scott Hall taking on Diamond Dallas Page and a mystery opponent. And finally, that mega main event where Rod the Bot gets into the ring for the first time ever with Hollywood Hogan taking on Luger and the Giant.
Yeah, but before that, we got to get to the real main event. That is the opening match of Mortis and Wrath versus Ernest Miller and Glacier. You know how WCW is known for their opening matches? Yep. They're keeping that streak alive.
Totally.
Come on.
This has been a build of 4, 5, maybe even 6 months of these 4.
All men very heavily pushed, you know.
So start as we mean to go on. It is a tag match. Starts off hot with a double leg takedown. Glacier and Mortis first. Some kung fu mastery on display here. The problem, of course, being that the crowd die a death. Because of course they fucking do.
Yeah, no shit.
I have very little notes on this match. I couldn't even be bothered. I had nothing good to say about these people.
Well, so I'll just take it over.
Okay, you do so. Because the only thing that I have is the ending of the match, which I found to be reasonably clever.
Unlike you, I unironically
extensive notes.
Enjoyed this match.
You enjoyed this.
I'm not sure if it just caught me at the right time, but it was a decent.
Well, it was bad wrestling, and you seem to be known for that at the moment.
I hate that's my thing, but I don't know. It did something for me. I enjoyed it. Glacier sends Mortis to the mats with some big shots. Raph comes in, and they both just stare at each other because Ernest Miller is late for his spot.
Sure is.
He manages to land a springboard sidekick to Raph, sending him to the outside. Miller gets tagged in and lands a nice spinning kick on Mortis, but Mortis tags out to Raph. And Raph tries to slow down Miller, but Miller's he's just too explosive. He just can't be stopped until Raph lands a backbreaker that grounds Miller. Some heavy, high quality wrestling going on in here.
Top quality.
Raph goes for the top rope move, but misses, which gives Miller a chance to tag in Glacier, and they hit a double drop kick to Raph.
Indeed.
You know, just tag team specialist here. Raph then starts brawling with Glacier on the outside. And while the ref is distracted with Miller, who is trying to save his partner from Mortis, Mortis and Raph use a chair on the outside on Glacier. Back in the ring, Mortis is beating up Glacier, but quickly Glacier recovers and lands a weird-looking like sidekick in the corner. But then Raph comes in and hits a clothesline. After a pin attempt, Glacier kicks out at 2. And Mortis tags in Raph, and they do a double-team powerbomb neckbreaker combo on Glacier. Raph goes for the pin, but Ernest Miller breaks it up. Raph then puts Glacier into a reverse Boston Crab, which I've always hated that move. Even in the indies when it became
Boston Crab.
Even in the indies when it became like a cool thing to do. I think Daniel Bryan used to do like a version of it. It's such a dumb fucking looking move.
Not a great look. Not a great look.
He pulls it off. Mortis lands a guillotine leg drop on Glacier. Mortis then goes for a moonsault but misses, and Glacier's about to tag his partner, but Raph comes in and hits Miller, preventing the tag. Miller decides he's seen enough and jumps in the ring and attacks Raph and Mortis, hitting each man with all types of kicks and spinning shit.
Of kung fu mastery.
Come on. He's a kung fu master, man.
Top quality. It's a regular Omega Osprey clinic. That's what this is.
We are used to these types of opening matches. We're getting it again here.
Yeah, Dean Malenko's still not on the show.
Miller and Raph are brawling on the outside, and Mortis is about to hit a suplex, but Glacier reverses it into a DDT. He goes for the pin, but Mortis manages to grab his foot and adds a chain on it. His manager, what's his manager's name?
James Vandenberg.
Yeah.
Yes.
He puts a chain on Mortis's foot.
That's right.
And then breaks up the pin. Morris's manager then goes on the apron to distract Glacier. Glacier hits him with a spinning super kick.
Yes.
But as Glacier turns around, Mortis hits him with a super kick using the chain that's on his foot.
That's right.
And he goes for the win, and he did it.
And he did it. He did it. Got the 1, 2, 3 count. It was a clever finish. I will give them that. It was a clever enough finish.
Yeah.
My problem is, among the, obvious that these people are awful and it's an awful storyline.
The match is decent, though.
The match, yeah. The problem that I have is that, again, for maybe the third month in a row, Glacier looks like absolute dog ass.
Yeah.
And it seems now as if Ernest Miller is the star of this duo.
He did look, to be honest, he did look like the star of, even though he's supposed to be the one with the least amount of professional wrestling experience, he was hitting his moves cleaner than Glacier was.
Not to mention the fact that you have poured money into Glacier and created this whole storyline for Glacier. You turned Canyon into Mortis. You brought in Brian Clark as Raph for Glacier. And yet you make Glacier look like a turd in the punch bowl and give Ernest the spotlight here. It makes no sense.
Yeah, he except for that one spot that he was kind of late for. He looked like the main attraction of that match,
and
which
Glacier
is fucked up.
Took the pin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that you liked it.
It was a decent match. I enjoyed that it went on first because even though it ruins their streak of great opening matches, I'd rather have it right at the beginning and then have a great pay-per-view than have a great pay-per-view then fucking right in the middle there's this match that kind of sucks the energy away from the rest of the pay-per-view. So I like it here.
Indeed.
We'll put it on first. We'll get through this.
Get it out of the way.
Then right after we got Jericho and Dragon to lift everyone up.
Yeah. They retired Medusa for this.
Listen, if they're gonna do it, at least they gotta do it. This is the best way that they can possibly, book it. They already spent the money on it.
Or, just don't book it.
Listen, this money's already spent. And WCW has this weird thing where they need 9 matches. I don't know why.
They do. A nice solid number. It's a good number.
Could be 8.
All right, no. Then how would you fit in this? How would you have time to fit in the tag match?
Listen, it was a decent tag match. It was a decent tag match.
If you say so, pal. Let us keep this train a-rolling with match number 2. I mean, the professor, Just John, he just wants to keep on a-going. So in the interest of sharing the load,
I love this match. I've seen this match a fucking couple times already.
Yes.
To me, this is the actual first match of the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. They just accidentally switched on the cameras to the dark match.
Yeah. They gave us a preview of what was the show that they had? Heat.
Yes.
Heat.
Their version of Heat. Yes.
Yeah. So we go to match number 2. Well, before that, DDP's answering questions on the stupid fucking hotline that they keep plugging.
Yes.
I don't know what it was with the 90s and hotlines, but apparently
that's where they made their money.
All you old fucks were calling in and shit. Yes, this is a direct shot to all you old wrestling fans. Stop giving your money to hotlines. God damn it.
Mm-hmm. Listen, DDP was answering many questions, rapid fire, to those 8,000 that are allowed and no one else.
God damn it. The 90s was a weird time. Anyways, match number 2, Ultimo Dragon versus Chris Jericho. Fantastic fucking match. They start off with some classic back and forth chain wrestling. They exchange monkey flips, which was
the cruiserweight title is on the line.
Oh yeah. See, this is why it's the both of us, because I forget a lot of shit.
Context is necessary. What are they fighting for?
Sorry, I just get so excited because it's such a good match.
Slow down.
Yes. Cruiserweight title on the line.
Who is the champion?
Ultimo Dragon versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's the champ.
There you go.
This is his, I think, is this his first run as Cruiserweight champion?
Yeah.
This is one of his first couple defenses as the Cruiserweight champ.
That's right.
And he's going up against a guy that we've seen a lot during this feud.
A top man.
Who's looked like an absolute monster since debuting for WCW in Ultimo Dragon. And again, they start off super hot, chain wrestling. They exchange monkey flips, which was a cool thing to see. Arm drags. They exchange drop kicks, but neither man can get an advantage over the other. Jericho then puts Dragon in the corner, but Dragon does the handstand from the top rope that he always does. Jericho then goes to pull him down. Dragon lands a drop kick instead. Dragon then lands a kick combination on Jericho and then puts Jericho in various submission attempts. Dragon goes for a Hurricanrana, but Jericho reverses it into a power bomb. After a suplex, Jericho takes full control of the match, but Dragon manages to hit a belly-to-back suplex. He tries to get some momentum back, but Jericho hits a Whisper in the Wind. I'm not sure what it was called back then.
Look at that.
I'm super young, so that's what I call it.
I'm super young. Well,
I call it a Whisper in the Wind.
You
I don't
are
know.
Firing a lot of shots at the old folks.
Listen,
good heaven.
I don't know what they were calling it back in the 90s.
A corkscrew somersault.
That's what it was called?
Sure.
Oh, I thought you were serious. Whisper in the Wind followed by a power bomb. Jericho hits a scoop slam. He tries to go for a elbow from the top rope, but Dragon puts his legs up. Then Jericho is on the top rope again, but this time Dragon meets him up there and he's about to hit a Hurricanrana, but then Jericho shoves him to the outside. Jericho then attempts to dive from the top rope to the outside, but Dragon hits him with a dropkick midair. Dragon hits the Asai moonsault to the outside, and these two are evenly matched. No man could get an advantage over the other. But then Jericho manages to roll up Dragon for the win to cap off an amazing, amazing match. Every move was delivered perfectly. The only misstep was Jericho missed a top rope drop kick that sent Dragon to the outside.
Yeah.
Commentary tried to play it off, saying that Dragon just kind of like he fell on purpose type of shit, but it was clearly a botch. But that was the only misstep in this match. Everything else was done perfectly.
There you go.
This is the true opening match of this pay-per-view, and one that you should definitely go back and watch if you're a fan of cruiserweight action.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of Jericho's best matches that we've reviewed so far.
I would agree. Yeah.
So it's definitely a match that you should go back and see.
Yes, I mean, it doesn't quite top Jericho versus Nick Patrick, but a solid, solid number 2. Solid number 2. Then it's to ringside with Mean Bugger Gene.
Yep.
Who is in the crowd, but a debuting Raven.
Yep.
What do we know about Raven, Just John?
So Raven, ECW legend.
Yes.
Held the ECW title multiple times. He's in a tag team with Stevie Richards, who's with him at ringside tonight. And Mean Gene's asking him some questions, and Raven, being Raven, is responding in poems.
Yes.
Which is confusing the shit out of Mean Gene.
All sorts of nonsense, and Mean Gene is just like, well, I don't know what any of that means. You're giving me the runaround here, and I don't approve of it. I just want a straight answer from you, sir.
That's when Stevie Richard, who is the more... They have kind of... For new wrestling fans, they kind of have a Randy Orton, Matt Riddle kind of situation going on, where one's a bit more gloomy, one's a little bit more outgoing.
Yes.
So Stevie Richards tries to answer the questions for Raven, and Raven just smacks the shit out of Stevie Richards.
As far as I'm concerned, this is very much a Ren and Stimpy dynamic.
Yes.
This is just a total cartoon, and it's fantastic. This is Pinky in the Brain.
Yeah, so poor Stevie Richards is just trying to help his partner out, trying to answer the questions.
And Mean Gene is just like, oh, he just knocked his lights out. What a suspicious individual.
Yeah.
Call the hotline now.
Listen, Mean Gene gets paid, I think, a percentage every time he talks about the goddamn hotline.
He does. Match number 3 is a tag team attraction in which the Steiner Bros, Scott and Rick, take on NWO International.
Yeah,
NWO Japan.
Yeah, enough of the cartoony bullshit. Enough of the fucking cruiserweights.
Yes.
It's the big boys' turn.
That's right. As it is Masahiro Chono and the Great Muta.
Hi.
That's right. Now, both of these men are megastars in Japan, of course.
Yes.
Muta has actually been in WCW quite a few times before. Way back in the day, in 1989, he was taking on Sting and Ric Flair as he was kind of teaming or had a kind of an alliance with Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And all the things that happened there. I mean, he still looks incredibly good today, even though he's moving a tad bit slower in this match. But even still.
Yeah, this for this whole NWO Japan project, they got like 2 of the best guys that they could get to represent Japan, just because Muta already has the name. He's been in the States countless times, as you said. And Chono's just a fucking powerhouse, a classic Japanese wrestler. So these are like the best 2 guys that you could have got.
Yes.
And they look badass coming out to like the NWO theme, you know, Muta with his NWO face paint.
That's right. Even Chono being a multi-time heavyweight champion, he's been the NWA heavyweight champion, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I mean, suplexes, handspring back elbows, of course. All 4 of these guys beating the ever-loving piss out of each other.
Basically, for this match, I guess they forgot to tell them that they're not supposed to try to murder each other.
It was strong style aplenty.
Yep.
And I was here for it, because you have these 2 brick shit houses in the Steiners, and then you have 2 of the masters of Japanese pro wrestling. And they were just going right at it. It was fantastic. Muta, at one point, getting on the top rope with Rick Steiner and delivering a Huracan Rana from the top. And then Rick Steiner doesn't even miss a beat because Muta tries to follow up later on with a handspring back elbow into the corner and gets caught into a suplex by Rick Steiner.
And we also have to give a shout out to the crowd in Florida because they were amazing for this match. They were red hot for this match.
They picked up. They were nice and hot. They were ready for it. Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner with tag team wrestling, some powdering by the Japanese contingent on the outside. They're kind of befuddled by the power game. It's all about the power game between the Steiners in comparison to Muta and Chono. Chono, to me, Masahiro Chono kind of takes a little bit of a sidestep. I've always had my eyes on Muta and everything that he was doing. Ultra charismatic. Definitely the muscle of the team for Chono. Yeah. But Muta was just giving me all the charisma. Giving me all the love. All right. The finish sees Muta on the shoulder of Rick as Scott first hits a Frankensteiner. And then they set Muta up and deliver a falling DDT to Muta from the top.
Yep.
The crowd explode as Scott Steiner is able to pick up the win in a fantastic tag match.
Listen, I remember when we first started reviewing WCW, I'm on the podcast saying that they had like one of the worst tag divisions.
Yes.
But recently they've been picking it up. There's still a couple duds in there, but now you can start seeing their tag division starting to form.
Yeah.
And this match was incredible and definitely I feel like one of those tag team matches that you have to go back and see.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention they are doing a slew of tag team wrestling at the moment. I mean, as we talked about on the Would You Rathers, a lot of the main events, a lot of the major matches have been tag team matches. We have this match here. We got the main event tag.
And the last pay-per-view, there was a big tag match too. Exactly. So they're picking it up,
So they're definitely focusing a bit more on tag team wrestling, such as which in match number 4, with Lucha Moocha Smoocheroo.
Yeah, you know how AEW now has like that 1 hour that they just focus on women? WCW has like their one match that they just throw all the Lucha guys that they can find.
All the AAA agreement, just throw them out there.
Yeah,
yes, with our Spanish correspondent, El Jono, I figured you might be able to take us to Loco Town.
I like that, El Jono. I like that. So we got a trios match between Hector Garza, Juventud Guerrera, and Lizmark Jr.
Classic.
Versus La Parca, Psychosis, and Villano 4 with Sonny Ono, who's there with Psychosis.
That's right.
And I think La Parca is also...
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a classic Lucha Libre style match. A lot of top rope moves. There's a point where everyone's doing a top rope their top rope finisher.
That's right.
And it just looks like fucking just bodies dropping out the skies.
Tope suicidas.
All types of shit. La Parca does a great dive to the outside. That's kind of scary because he kind of lands awkward, but listen, this is Lucha Libre. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
La Parca and Sonny Ono kind of have a little back and forth. Sonny Ono had to like take out some cash and remind him like, yo, you're on my side type of thing.
Yes, that's right.
Juventud also does a dive to the outside that was really, really cool. Where I I forgot who it was, but he used someone to like launch himself over the top rope, and he got
kind of the leg lariat deal. Oh, he's amazing! The amount of air that guy's able to do, especially when he does just the standard springboard, but to do it off of the back of La Parca is absolutely sensational stuff.
At the end of the match, Villano 5 comes in and takes the place of Vagina 4.
The switcheroo.
Yeah. But there was some confusion in the match because, of course, there's like fucking 6-7 people in there. There's going to be some sort of confusion.
Yes.
But it leads to Hector Garza landing a standing moonsault on Psychosis, I believe it was, for the win, which honestly wasn't the greatest finish.
Pretty flat, if we have to be honest.
Because after like 20 minutes of nonstop, like just batshit crazy, like, yo, let's just try to one-up each other.
Yes.
For it to end on just like a standing moonsault that didn't even look that painful, I was like, oh.
Well, okay. There we are.
Because I thought it was going to be a kick out and some other shit was going to happen, especially with the Vagina 4 and 5 switch. I thought that was going to play a bigger part in the finish. But the fact that it was just ended with a moonsault, I was like, oh, that was disappointing.
It's incredible. Incredible. I will say, because I think now we've had 2 trios matches under Lucha Rules.
Yeah.
And this match was highly entertaining and much better than the first one that we had.
Yes.
Mainly because there wasn't a Conan in it.
Yeah, the first one had, if you remember, if you go back to our last episode, we reviewed that Lucha Libre match, there was a lot of botches in that one. Which is
ugly.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you watch a lot of Mexican Lucha Libre, there is quite a lot of botches. But this match was clean. They were able to get through all their stuff without too many botches. So
it works out well in the end, which is the most that you can ask for out of Lucha Libre. And it was a good match to boot. Match number 5 sees a career on the line as Chris Benoit takes on Kevin Sullivan. Sully Bobs is looking mighty wet as he comes down to the ring. Kevin Sullivan is flanked with Jimmy Hart and a very reluctant and angry Jackie. Jacqueline is not a fan. Doesn't want to hold the hand of Wet Sully, and I can't say as I blame her. Can't say as I blame her at all.
Had a lot of moisture on him for some reason.
Very wet. I
don't know what was going on there.
Chris Benoit comes out all by him lonesome. He is here to fight Kevin Sullivan. And baby, does he fight Kevin Sullivan. It is stiff fists to start. Both men nailing each other with everything they have. Kevin Sullivan takes a hold of Chris Benoit, a suplex from the inside of the ring all the way over to the top to the outside. Jackie then whips Benoit into the railing. But then Benoit, when he's down on the ground, Jackie tries to maneuver, get some more attack in, just monkey flips her.
The monkey flip is always going to be my favorite move.
It pops me. It pops me every time. But Jackie is able to land on her feet off of the monkey flip, tries to get in, do some more attacking. Double team by both Jackie and Sully, and Benoit low blows both of them. Benoit then picks up Jacqueline and throws her onto Kevin Sullivan, and then it's into the surfboard house, up the ramp. By the way, side note, talking about the set, an absolutely amazing set.
Yep.
Yes.
And I this is my favorite part of this match, when they go into the set, because the way the set just crumbles as they're fighting is fucking hilarious.
They go into the surfboard house, they're breaking down the surfboard house. Jimmy Hart, for no reason whatsoever, climbs the lifeguard stand, and Benoit pushes him over. And the whole lifeguard stand goes down into the tent. It crumbles and collapses.
Everything just starts fucking falling apart.
It looks awesome. It looks absolutely fantastic. Both men battling on the entranceway still. Kevin Sullivan is able to deliver a pile driver onto the concrete floor.
And just to add this, by this point in the match, it's basically a handicap match.
Yes.
Because Jacqueline is fully fully involved in this match.
As a matter of fact, I wrote that she's getting involved a little bit too much.
Yeah, for a person that's supposed to just be a manager.
Yeah, so much so that Kevin Sullivan is like throwing her out of the way, like literally, like throwing her.
Like he's literally setting up spots for her. Like he pulls away the guardrail at one point, and she just tosses Chris into the guardrails, and I'm like, all right, so you're part of this match at this point.
Just over and over again. She's getting way too in there, but after a while, they're able to get back into the ring. And then after a little bit of a back and forth, Chris Benoit gets tossed outside once again into the waiting boots of Jimmy Hart, who sticks the boots in, just gives him a little bit of a tippy tap, Yeah,
he's no Ernest Miller, but
that's right. He's getting the boots in. He's getting the boots in. Then Kevin Sullivan crotches Benoit on the guardrail right in front of old Raven, and Raven, stoic, doesn't make a move. Doesn't even acknowledge that anything's happening. Why did he even buy the ticket?
I don't.
Why is he in the front row?
I thought he was just going to be there for the Mean Gene segment, but he just stayed there.
Unbelievable. Both men get back into the ring. Benoit is able to retake some control with a snap suplex. However, Kevin Sullivan bites at the belly of Benoit. Starts nibbling away, starts teething on him. As Dusty Rhodes would say, he started teething on the belly. But then, of course, Chris Benoit bites Kevin Sullivan right on the ear, starts nibbling away on the ears. And then the crowd is lit up by this point. A crossface in on one Sully, but he gets up before the arm drops for the 3. Sully then gets into the crossface once again, but he gets out a second time. Sullivan, this is where it kind of gets a little bit weird because Benoit starts just beating the piss out of Kevin Sullivan, and Kevin Sullivan keeps getting back up, and he's kind of doing like a little bit of a Hulk up, thing, and I'm like, you are not a good guy here, man. Like, read the room.
No one's cheering for you right now.
He's able to get Chris Benoit into the Tree of Woe, driving the knees in not once, not twice, but thrice. And then Jacqueline, while this is taking place, pulls out the old trusty, the old faithful, the wooden chair. She gets into the ring, and Kevin Sullivan is like, no, you're not going to use the chair. I'm going to use the chair. I want to use the chair. I want to put this man out for good. All right? He took away my wife. And Jacqueline is like, oh, you want the chair, huh? You want the chair? And clatters the fuck out of Kevin Sullivan.
This was such a weird finish.
Oh, God. Sullivan gets cracked in the head with the chair. The chair just goes into bits.
Yeah.
It's some cornwood at this point.
It literally just fucking... every piece of it,
just disintegrates. Chris Benoit recovers, gets a diving headbutt onto Kevin Sullivan. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Sullivan has retired from competition.
This match was great.
I loved this match.
This match was fucking great. My only thing was the ending was weird, because why help him? Why put your body through all this punishment if you're just going to betray him at the end? But that aside, this match was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
I think they overestimated how much people would give a shit about the retirement match.
Yeah, no.
I don't think people cared that much. They're like, oh, we don't care.
I think people just wanted to see Chris Benoit win.
Yeah.
If the stipulation wasn't there, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah, I think like even at the end, Jimmy Hart trying to not console, but he was like telling Kevin Sullivan how he's let everyone down.
Yeah, you've let us down.
But Kevin Sullivan just pushes him out the way, and he's like walking up the ramp. He's like teary-eyed. Yeah. And the whole crowd's just like, we don't give a shit.
We want the next match.
Yeah, we don't care.
We would like the next match. If he just did a quiet retirement, if that was just, this is going to be my last match, don't have to say anything about it. Just go out there, have a nice drag out
like
brow.
The months before you did the efforts to turn babyface.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're going up against a babyface.
Yeah.
And you've been a heel all this time.
Love Chris Benoit. At this point, Chris Benoit is gaining so much momentum to the crowd. People love Benoit and everything he does. Mm-hmm. There's no way that you're going to be able to do a Hulk up spot with Chris Benoit.
Listen,
it's just not going to happen.
I've never seen a wrestler go up the ramp like teary-eyed while the audience is just like, we just don't care. Yeah. We don't care.
He's retiring? What?
You're telling me the villain that's been hurting my favorite wrestler is retiring? This is a fucking great day.
Okay. But be that as it may, Kevin Sullivan does in fact retire. He continues to work in the backstage for WCW until its closing. Mm-hmm. Famously, he would regain power in the short span that Vince Russo walked away from the book. And that would cause the Radicals of Eddie Guerrero, Malenko, Saturn, and Benoit to all jump ship at the same time because they did not trust that Kevin Sullivan had their best interests at heart. And
also Kevin Sullivan does fight again for WCW, like I think a year later.
Yes.
So it's not really a retirement.
As nothing ever is.
Nothing ever is.
Match number 6. The top billing Steve Mongo McMichael put his name on the marquee and watched the tickets fly.
This is like his third time this high up on a pay-per-view. It's incredible.
Versus Jeff Jarrett for the U.S. title, champion Jeff Jarrett.
This is Mongo's
first full year.
Yep.
He is a 1-year pro.
He's getting his title shot.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
You gotta love wrestling sometimes, man.
As Mongo comes to the ring, he goes right to the camera. He says, "You should have never jumped in my chili, baby. Now it's time for you to go down."
This is my favorite moment of the pay-per-view. I don't know what the fuck he meant by that. This is my first time hearing jumped into my chili.
You should have never jumped into my chili, boy. Now it's gonna go down. That damn Jeff Jarrett music. We're gonna play it here. I want you to listen to this. Listen to this music. It is the worst fucking music. I hate it every single time.
How dare you? All of Jeff Jarrett's theme songs have been fucking incredible.
Are you listening to this?
Yes. They've all been incredible.
Jeff Jarrett is officially out of the Horsemen. He's been kicked out by the man who brought him in, who gave him the endorsement, Ric Flair. He's out of the Horsemen. Somehow, Mongo is the face in this. I mean, of course, we have to spend the first 5 minutes walking around, strutting, taunting, pantomiming with the belt and all that stuff.
Mongo steals the belt. He starts posing with it.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett steals it back. He does his pose with it. You're just filling out time.
Yeah, You've got about 15, 16 minutes to kill.
Yeah.
Right? How else are you going to do it? But with some old Memphis taunting.
They could do some wrestling, but who wants to see that?
No, of course not. Yeah. These bunch of assholes. And then somehow, chants of Mongo ring out through the crowd. The sold-out crowd is chanting for Mongo McMichael.
Yeah, it's kind of like prime Cena days where the audiences are divided. Because some people are chanting for Mongo. Some people are saying, Jeff Jarrett sucks. So, a really fiery crowd.
Man. Chant of Mongo. A sidewalk slam by Mongo, and then the 3-point stance tackle takes Jeff Jarrett to the outside. A clothesline to the outside by Mongo, who is in full control. Outside, Mongo takes Jarrett and chokes him with the cable. Back inside, a very sloppy gorilla press slam that nearly drops Jeff Jarrett on his neck. And then he follows that up with a sloppy-ass powerbomb for a near fall. This match is going great. Mongo rears up, misses a knee into the corner, and then Jeff Jarrett does 3-point stances of his own. This match is basic. This match is easy. This match is making Mongo look fine.
Listen, this is one of those matches where, like, you can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, if you have more than, like, a month experience of you shouldn't fuck this match up. No. Mongo's trying his best.
Yeah.
But there's no way you can fuck this up.
And Mongo looks fine. Everything seems okay. Jeff Jarrett is working the leg a little bit. He goes to put in the figure 4, but here comes Deborah up onto the apron with the Halliburton briefcase. Now, Jeff Jarrett, he says, get her off the apron. Tells the ref, get her off the apron. He goes over, he mimes like, I want to slap you.
It's the 90s.
I want to slap your teeth out.
It's all right. It's the 90s, but everyone.
And he takes the briefcase from Deborah. He smashes Mongo on the arm. And the Mongo goes, ah! And then Jeff Jarrett bonks him right on the head. He collapses.
Yep.
Jeff Jarrett pins to win. Jeff Jarrett and Deborah hug, and boom, double cross of the century.
One of the most obvious, like, we knew it was going to happen. We didn't know when, but we knew it was going to happen. So it wasn't as surprising.
But after all this time, they're finally together.
Yeah.
Deborah will never let go of that belt. And Deborah is off with Jeff Jarrett and the U.S. heavyweight title.
I just don't want to see that briefcase anymore. I'm so tired of that briefcase.
It is in every ending of every Mongo match.
Every fucking ending.
Yeah.
Someone either gets hit with the briefcase or is distracted by the briefcase, or in some occasion, the briefcase is a distraction for another briefcase.
That's right.
I'm tired of this goddamn briefcase.
Briefcase is life. Briefcase is life. And now, let's hear from Rod the Bod and Hollywood Hogan.
Whoa. You know, Hollywood's on a roll, brah. The deal is, I've been on the porch so long, I've been running by myself. I'm the big dog. It's finally nice to find another champion. It's finally nice to find another dog. It's finally nice to find a fire hydrant that you have something in common with. And just like Hollywood has been rocked by Rod the Bod in Hollywood, just like the wrestling world is going to be rocked tonight by Rod the Bod in Hollywood, Daytona Beach doesn't have a chance. Bash the beach because Rod the Bod, the god himself, destroyed the whole town. Sweet! You be the man. You be the man. I'll be the man. You are the man.
I love to be the man. Let me tell you right now, Daytona, you don't know what hit you. Because you know why? Because Rod the Bod, Hollywood, Hulk Hogan, we're here to tear this town apart. And you know what? Accept it. We ain't going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
No. You know what I like so much about you? Is the fact that you have a conscience. The fact that when you bust people right in the skull, the fact is, you saved a couple lives. You left the giant, that big, nasty, wart-infected giant, and Flexi Lexi, that Hollywood wannabe, for us to beat up tonight. Daytona, you've been devastated. This town can't handle Rod the Bod. But tonight, we're going to take up the last two survivors. Hollywood and Dennis Rodman, the Dirty Dog. We're here. You know what? Would you put your hands on that message? Would you please save a little piece for me? Would you please save just a little bit?
I just want to have a look. I just want to taste of that. You may be tall, but as they say, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
And you know what, bro? I didn't realize that everybody in the sports world was going to be watching tonight. I thought that maybe they would tape the show. Maybe they would wait just a couple more moments to see what's happening. But whenever there's a natural disaster, whenever the two greatest athletes on God's green earth get together, everybody pays attention.
They have no choice. They have no choice. There's no choice.
You put the icing on my cake. You're great.
I know I am. I know I am.
You're great.
I know I am.
But you're even better. You know, I just agree.
Because you know why? It's nothing better. They want this. They want the ultimate. They want the ultimate goal. But you know what?
And when you're NWO for life.
What did you think of that promo, good sir?
I love this bromance. In the media, we very rarely get to see bromances like this. So it's kind of, WCW was ahead of their time, showing that two men could just fucking love each other so much.
I mean, get a man that looks at you like Hollywood looks at Rodman.
Listen, Hollywood loves Rodman to death.
Yeah.
To the point where most of this promo was just them being like, nah, you're great. No. You're great. You're great.
Yeah. He's like, Brod the Bod, when you get hold of that big, nasty, wart-infected giant, just leave a little bit for me, man. Just leave a little piece. And Rod is just like, oh, yeah, brother, I'm gonna totally do that. Because you're the champ. And I'm the champ.
This is the closest thing we're gonna get to a gay storyline in wrestling till Kenny and Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, that's right. But yes, it made me hate them. It did its job.
It did the opposite for me. I wanted them to win after I saw
that.
Really?
Because I couldn't wait for Lex Luger to rack them. I could not wait for it.
I wanted them to win so bad after this because I was like, you can't destroy this bromance.
Amazing.
It's great.
Oh, look at you. Match number 7. It is Scott Hall and Macho Man Randy Savage taking on Diamond Dallas Page and his mystery partner, Curt Hennig.
And the crowd goes crazy. Mild.
And my thing is this. I am genuinely hoping that it's because of the music dubbing, because DDP's music on the network is not his actual music. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that because the music is there, it killed the crowd noise. But the way that this match goes.
Listen, I would have agreed with you, but I've looked at so many different reviews. I've looked at different angles of the match because I thought it was the dubbing as well. Yeah. It's not the dubbing. Oh. People just did not give a shit.
Yeah.
I think they played it up so much that they let fans get into their own heads and be like, oh, it's going to be this guy or this guy, or oh, he doesn't want to tell us it has to be somebody fucking crazy. And then when Curt Hennig came out, they were like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I guess.
The unfortunate thing as well is that Hennig has been on TV already. So they've already debuted him on Nitro. And so, like, you should have been saving it for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But the sad thing, it's because of one of two things. So remember last month, Gene Okerlund was saying that there was somebody that was unhappy on the other side of the pond with their current contract.
Yep.
He was referring to Curt Hennig. Famously, Curt Hennig was renegotiating his deal with the WWF because at the time he was dealing with a back injury. He was mainly on commentary. He was making sporadic appearances. He had been cleared to compete. However, the WWF was, of course, going through the Attitude Era, the youth movement, the same thing that had driven out Randy Savage, Hogan, etc., all of the people before him.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep Curt Hennig. They were desperate to keep Curt Hennig because they were losing every fucking star. So, during negotiations, having felt slighted by the offer that the WWF had given him, Curt Hennig famously sent his father, Larry the Axe Hennig, to WCW Nitro to sit in the crowd live to show the WWF exactly where his legions lied. In doing so, Curt Hennig was going to the WCW. Mm-hmm. So that's a famous shot fired at the WWF for Curt Hennig. But yeah, unfortunately, didn't capitalize on Curt Hennig properly, and yeah, it led to a lukewarm reception here.
Yeah. It wasn't, again, same thing with the Kevin Sullivan stuff. Mm-hmm. I think they just misjudged or mistimed their match.
But Dusty Rhodes was right in there to try and save it. He's like, baby, there is some heat right now, that guacamole heat. Oh, baby, that guacamole heat, baby.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I didn't know guacamole was spicy.
It's not. I don't think it is. No, it's not. It's not.
Well, according to the Big Dust, it is. All right. Macho Man gets a clothesline right away and is taken to the corner by Page. Spit to spit by Page and Macho. All right. Toothpick to gum by Hennig and Hall. It is nothing but some machoing. All right. Whose dick's bigger? Who's got the bigger set of balls?
Yep. This was definitely a weird way to start the match, but it did give it, at least for me, it gave it a little bit more intensity. Like, okay, these guys really want to go at it, really want to, fight each other.
Yeah.
It didn't.
It was definitely like it was a psych out game, and I got the point.
Yeah,
but I was kind of like, "There's not much going on."
There's not
like the first 3 minutes of this match is just they do a collar and elbow tie up. Somebody goes down.
If they did that, but there was some interesting moves in between,
yeah,
that would have been badass. But the fact that like they did that, like I think they Savage and Page spit on each other.
Yeah.
Then they tag out.
Yeah.
Then the Scott Hall thing and the Curt Hennig thing. So then you're almost at like 3-4 minutes where it's just you guys just taunting each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Could have shaved some time off of that and went right into the wrestling because once it happens, it's actually quite good. Like Hennig manages to take Scott Hall down with some atomic drops, a forearm smash, a neck snap. Hennig looking very good. He's also jacked. Hennig is in the best shape of his life. He's got the singlet down. He doesn't put the singlet up. He's got the straps down. He's letting you see that he's in shape. And then Page gets tagged in. And they're isolating Scott Hall a little bit. Okay, the flatliner, that little power driver-esque thing to Scott Hall. And then he knocks down the Macho Madness. All right, but then Hall and Macho with 2 corner clotheslines to Diamond Dallas Page. And Macho Man follows that up with the axe handle once he gets tagged in, flying from the top rope. Macho Man is then attacking from the outside. DDP is sent to the outside. Savage and into the steps goes Diamond Dallas Page. Macho Man is being like, come on, baby, I'm gonna murder the bum. I'm gonna murder the bum. So much so, Page does an incredible babyface spot here. He grabs the guardrail. He's reaching out to the fans, and the fans help him up. The fans help him to his feet. He's got the hands of the fans are willing him back to his feet. And then Macho Man, like a heel, punches the crap out of Dallas Page as soon as he gets up. And they throw him back into the ring to be fed to Scott Hall even more. It's beautiful.
Savage's heel run. Listen, it was something that we didn't... We didn't want like him part of the NWO, but now that he's in it, he's making the best out of it. And he's going full-blown heel.
Yeah. He is an absolute highlight. He's an absolute highlight. Macho is just beating Page up some more, but finally Page is able to get the tag into Hennig, but there is no heat. No heat at all. No hot tag. This crowd is kind of dead.
Yeah.
Curt Hennig gets an Irish whip at one point, and he gets sent over the top, kind of, because he tries to go over the top because DDP is holding on to the top rope.
Yep.
Trying to pull himself back up. You see, he needed the fans. But Curt Hennig tries to go over. He gets kind of hung up on the top. He has to drop out down to the bottom. And then he knocks the shit out of Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, he hits DDP in the back.
Yes.
And he just leaves him.
Just walks away.
Which...
Yeah. Diamond Dallas Page then suffers the outsider's edge and the Macho Man elbow to win. A flat finish.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
This was like the Hector Garza moonsault finish.
Yeah.
The match wasn't bad. The match was pretty, even though Kurt didn't get the reaction that he thought he was going to get, or that WCW thought he was going to get. But the match was still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Up until that botch. Once that botch happens, the whole match just goes downhill.
And it ends up being very flat. Mm-hmm. We don't know where Curt Hennig goes from here. There's a lot of questions as to whether or not he's, NWO for life, or if he's just angry at Diamond Dallas Page for trying to pull himself back up.
I don't know what they do with him going forward. I don't think, again, viewing this in 1997 without the information we know now, I don't think adding him to this feud really is going to do anything for it. Maybe getting a DDP a couple wins on fucking Nitro or something, but...
Do you know what Curt Hennig does after this?
No.
You are going to be so disappointed, my friend.
Oh my
God. You are going to be so sad with what comes next. I'm not gonna tell you anything. You're gonna hate it. Match number 8 is Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper, and I had my hands clasped. I was rubbing them together. I was a kid in an ice cream parlor.
You were ready for this one.
Oh, I was ready. It is a massive pop for Roddy Piper. Mm-hmm. A massive pop for the 6-figure Roddy Piper. Need we forget? And then Ric Flair comes out.
Yep.
He's got the brand new blue robe. He's looking good. Got the haircut.
Yep.
He's looking good.
Is this the first Flair singles match that we review on the podcast?
Yeah, yes it is.
Yeah, because the last one I think was a tag match.
2 sets of tag matches so far, yes.
So this is the first full Ric Flair single match that we review on the podcast.
And here we go. Can these men still go? Is the question on everybody's mind. We know that Roddy Piper really did not have a great match with Hogan at Super Bowl.
Yeah, so far both of them, they've either had tag matches or, in the case for Roddy Piper, they've been single matches, but they've been full of outside interferences and, the little shit that they do to cut corners to make the match seem more exciting type of shit. So this is the first test for both men to see how healthy is Ric Flair after the injury and
how
can Piper can go. Yeah.
Does he have hips? Can he do it?
Yeah.
Piper goes to the brawling right away. Tony Schiavone says, so much for the wrestling match. Piper with the chops. Flair tries to chop, but he ends up flopping. He does the Flair flop. Flair has got the moves. He is flying around everywhere for Piper. He does the up and over the top rope. He takes the clothesline. He's out to the floor. He's backing off. He's pandering. He's doing the whole heel shtick.
Yep.
This is 1980s Ric Flair if there ever was one.
There's a moment in the match where Ric's trying to get fired up, and he does his classic poke to the eyes to Piper. Which Piper just no-sells.
Yeah, Piper no-sells it and just fights back. Going. My God. The crowd is hot as hell for this match. Mm-hmm. This crowd is at a fever pitch. Outside, Ric Flair tries to go for an attack. He gets backdropped on the floor. Back into the ring. Flair is down on the knees. He's begging off. Piper drops down to the knees and pokes him right in the eyes. But finally, Roddy Piper, he's got Flair backed up in the corner. The ref manages to pull him away. Ric Flair takes out the knee. Does a chop block right to the knee. Mm-hmm. And then immediately figure 4 onto Roddy Piper. And then they're in there for a little bit. Roddy Piper fires up. He's able to reverse.
And before he reverses the figure 4, I suggest you guys go back and watch his expression while in the figure 4.
Yes.
Piper, oh my God. Piper is the fucking best, man.
He's so good. So good. Roddy Piper gives a neck breaker to Ric Flair to a near fall. Ric Flair with a dirty, nasty low blow just from downtown. Right up in there. But Roddy Piper, he doesn't miss a beat, baby. He fires right back with the fists. Another backdrop to Ric Flair. A clothesline out to the top rope. Ric Flair then back into the ring, is able to take back control from Roddy Piper. He tries to go for a cover using the ropes when they are back inside. Roddy Piper keeps on getting the shoulder just centimeters off the centimeters. Ric Flair finally has to let up and he says, "Shut the hell up!" to the crowd in the audience. He's pushing the ref.
After figure 4s and leg shots, fucking all types of shit.
That's right.
He finally is like, you know what? Fuck it. And brings out the brass knuckles.
That's right.
And just fucking tries to clock Piper with the brass knuckles. What does commentary call the brass knuckles? The hand protectors or something?
Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he's like, he's got the hand protector. He's got the hand protector. Ric Flair swings for the fences, but does not get it. Roddy Piper then hits Nature Boy Ric Flair with it, but here comes the Horseman.
Yep.
What's left of the Horseman? As Chris Benoit tries for a headbutt, he lands on Nature Boy Ric Flair. Mongo McMichael misses his goddamn cue, so Roddy Piper has to get back and does for another cover. Finally, Mongo comes in. He's got his arm in a cast.
Because he got hit with the briefcase.
That's right. Yeah. But then he picks Roddy Piper up for a tombstone. So, I mean...
It's Mongo, man. The rules don't apply to him.
Oh, God. Ric Flair rolls ever so slowly onto Roddy Piper. We think that he has it won. He's going to win dirty. But Roddy Piper kicks out at 2, and the crowd explodes again. Again, the crowd explodes. Piper fires up from the chop. He takes one chop, and he's just like, "You motherfucker." Pee Wee Anderson, he's taking a look as both men just firing off fist after fist after fist after fist. He's following with them, doing the air fisting in the air. Finally, Roddy Piper, Irish whip to Ric Flair, gets him in the sleeper hold. Ric Flair's got nowhere to go. He passes out 1, 2, 3 times the drop. Roddy Piper wins. I always forget how amazing this match is. Match of the fucking night.
This is the best match that you can put right before the main event. Get people fired up for the main event. And if you just want to see 2 old, crazy bastards just go at it in some over-the-top wrestling, this is the match.
This is easily Roddy Piper's best match so far on the podcast that we've had. Yeah, I can't gush enough over this match. Oh my God, because the expectations for a man with 1 titanium hip and Ric Flair.
And coming off an injury.
Yeah. The expectations are so low.
Both way past their prime.
Oh, God. And both of them just pull out the goddamn best out of each other.
And even with the Mongol and Benoit stuff, it just adds to just the over-the-top craziness of this match.
Because it's like, Piper's gotten screwed. Ric Flair has screwed him. He's going to win. And then he kicks out. The crowd is just like, fucking yeah!
I feel like this is going to be probably like Moxley Danielson when they're like 60, just putting on crazy ass.
Yeah. It'll be great. It is main event time as Hogan and Rodman take on Luger and the Giant. I have something for you, Just John.
Go for it.
A task.
Oh boy.
As we go through this match together, we shall rate this in 2 different ways.
Okay.
We shall rate this in entertainment quality.
Okay.
And wrestling quality.
That's fair.
And then we will decide what kind of main event do we prefer. One of entertainment quality and one of wrestling quality.
I like that.
And that is what we shall do for the main event.
Before we start with the main event, I just want to say that I feel so sad for Luger.
Yes.
Because he's the #1 contender.
He is.
And for like the last 3 pay-per-views, he's been stuck in tag team action.
Yes.
Versus Hogan and someone else.
That's right. That's right. But finally, we are here. What brought the crowd today? A mega match indeed. Why is Macho Man with them?
Macho Man, he gives off very much like third wheel energy. Like Hogan and Rodman are trying to have this bromance, and then Savage is like, "Hey guys, I'm here too." Yeah. There's moments in the match, especially like later on in the match, where Savage will pop up, and I have to I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, he's just been here the whole time." Like,
it's so strange.
Yep.
It's so strange. I mean, big reactions for all men that come out.
Yeah.
It is a mega main event. Yeah. Michael Buffer has, of course, been, shilled out here for another $6.5 million for his 10 minutes. Because main event's got a main event, baby.
Listen, but to be fair, to cutting some slack to WCW, they're paying him a shit ton of money for like 10 minutes of work.
Yes.
But damn, does it make for a good pay-per-view intro.
It does.
It does exactly what it's supposed to. It hypes you the fuck up.
Yeah.
Especially for Hollywood Hogan, who's just taking this whole heel stick and fucking just pushing it to like
it's out of control.
Absolutely. He's pushing this whole heel thing to as far as he can fucking take it.
Yeah.
And having Michael Buffer just introduce him in like this over the top, like it's great. It's fucking great.
This heel duo is absolutely out of control. Like Hollywood Hogan has gone to the nth degree.
Listen, and after you show me his 98 contract, like he's even outside of the ring, he's being a heel.
He is. Amazing. Nothing happens for ages though. Like, nothing at all.
Listen, if you start clocking in this match from the intro, you get the super long intro, then you get the super long entrances.
That's right.
Then the match starts, and it's Hogan shenanigans for the first... Like, you spend a good, 10 minutes without shit going on.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then Rodman gets tagged in. Luger is in. And then Rodman arm drags Lex Luger.
To a pop.
To the biggest pop of the night.
To a huge fucking pop.
And
off of an arm drag.
The thing that's the most bizarre is that the commentary team, Dusty Rhodes, Tony Schiavone, Bobby Heenan, they gush over Dennis Rodman's capabilities of doing an arm drag, a collar and elbow tie-up.
I think he leapfrogs over Luger at one time. Yep.
And a shoulder tackle. And we've got Dusty Rhodes being like, somebody call the law. Somebody call the law. How is this man doing this? An arm drag. And a shoulder tackle. Luger's on the back foot. How is this possible? And then Bobby the Brain Heenan is like, this man has been training. This man has fooled us all.
But I love the moment when he tags in Rodman.
Yes.
And Rodman is going to do a test of strength with Luger.
That's right.
And he's just making the crowd wait.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm about to, nope, I'm going to back off. I'm going to talk to Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is such good fucking heel work. Because I'm watching it, and even I'm like, all right, all right, do
kill
something.
Yeah. Kill it. And then, after Rodman does the arm drag to Luger, Luger then gets in and arm drags everyone and sends everybody to the outside. And Rodman is already gassed. He's already out of breath. He's already panting. And then he's still got to come in and do the leapfrog shoulder tackle. And he nearly fucks up the second one. But he manages to make it, which is great. Luger is able to clothesline Rodman after he does 2 leapfrogs.
Yeah.
Luger then tags in the Giant. Hogan gets in. Hogan takes Giant to the corner with some chops and some chokes.
Mm-hmm.
Giant then no-sells a clothesline. Rodman then tags in to face the Giant, and he's like, listen, we're eye to eye right now, player.
Yeah.
All right, we are eye to eye right now. Rodman does manage to leapfrog him once, but then on the second attempt, he gets grabbed in a bear hug by the Giant, and good God, and then it's a massive atomic drop to Rod the Bod.
Yep.
And then
he does a spot.
He spanks him.
Yeah, the Giant does a spot where he spanks Rodman for some reason.
And the crowd is fucking wild.
Listen, the crowd's been losing their mind for this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Like even the botch, everything, they have been loving it.
Yeah, they're having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Double teamwork by Hogan and Rodman. A big boot to the Giant by Hogan. Double hip toss by Hogan and Dennis Rodman to the Giant.
Yep.
But then Lex Luger is just able to get the hot tag. He knocks down Hogan. He knocks down Rod the Bod. He takes down Randy Savage. Rodman is actually bumping. And he's bumping like proper. And it's not phoning it in.
Yeah, no. And that's what I like. Like, I like celebrities like that would, like, they're going to come into this world and they're like, you know what? I want to do it properly. Like, I'm taking the bumps. I'm doing all this type of shit.
And Rodman then blindsides Luger, and then Hogan is able to drop the big leg, and Luger kicks out of the big leg.
Yep.
Rodman tags in. He continues to attack Lex Luger. Tony Schiavone on commentary says he's tall. He's lanky. And I'm like, Tony, that is not a compliment, my dude.
He's tall and lanky.
Yeah. Giant gets in again and boots to both men. And here comes Sting.
Oh.
Sting. 7 foot tall, 350 pound. Sting. Now, he gets in.
I forgot about this.
He nails the Giant with a bat. And the Giant gets taken out. Sting then steps out over the top rope and leaves. And the commentary is, how can you even pretend it's Sting?
After he left the top rope, after he left the ring by going over the top rope.
Spoiler alert, it's Kevin Nash.
And if it was like a thing where like we barely get to see Sting, but we've seen him in the ring next to other wrestlers. You know times. He's not 7 feet tall.
Many times. So then you would think, okay, so they've screwed him out of the match. They're going to lose here. But Luger ducks a Hogan clothesline and racks Hogan.
Yeah.
Here comes Nick Patrick out of nowhere, rings the bell. Lex Luger wins. Luger wins anyway.
Yeah.
Why do we have the Sting bit?
Which is weird because the real Sting doesn't even come out, so there's no reason to have that Sting part in it.
Luger then racks Dennis Rodman, which gets a huge ovation. Macho Man then gets racked. That should have been flipped around. Rodman should have been the last one to get the Dodger rack for the big pop.
Yeah.
But whatever. Why did any of that happen? This is supposed to be the NWO's birthday, seeing as this is the first time last year that Hogan joined the NWO, and the NWO became a public thing, but they lose in their birthday. Fake Sting thing aside, this was a fantastic match.
Yep.
But now it is time to rate it on of course, a 5-star basis.
Okay.
I will start first with, how would you rate it on wrestling quality out of 5?
Like a 3. Like a 3.
Okay.
Because Rodman wasn't too terrible that we would have to take points off.
He kept it basic.
Yeah. Luger and the Giant, they're going to do what they always do. So they were good. Hogan was good. Savage was good. So there wasn't any like dip in the quality of wrestling. So I'll give it a 3.
And for the entertainment value,
that's a 5 out of 5.
Full on 5.
It was.
You were thoroughly entertained
From the second Michael Buffer started announcing to the end of the match. I was hooked. I was on it. So much fucking fun. Even with the fake Sting thing.
Yes.
That didn't really lead to anything.
No.
I still like popped when fake Sting showed up, so I still give it points for entertainment. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. So this whole match was excellent. So I'll give it 5 out of 5.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, for me, I mean, I'm going to do a 2.5 on the wrestling. Solid rate.
Fair,
half.
fair,
We're halfway.
right in the middle, yep.
Yeah, because nobody did anything spectacular.
Yep.
But nobody did anything terrible either.
Exactly.
This was as basic could be. And when you have celebrity involvement, whether or not they're athletes, doesn't matter. But Mr. T was in fantastic shape. They still kept it basic with him. You need to keep it basic. And when it is basic, it's better. Because the more fantastical shit that you want to do, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
And we will see that in later history. But for entertainment purposes, I will say it is a 4.
Okay.
For me, it is not the 5 out of 5 Bobby Dazzler for me.
That's fair.
But I completely see where you're coming from in the context of everything. If it's a 5 out of 5, fantastic. This is a hugely entertaining match. Superbly entertaining, with the mix of the crowd as well as the talent involved and all of their charisma. This match is elevated to a whole new level. And I would say this is one of the few times where they've brought in a celebrity, WCW that is, and it is 100% effective.
Okay.
Every other time they've done any type of non-wrestling involvement up to this point, as we've seen with the Kevin Greens and all of those football things, have not gone over well.
Ernest Miller.
Exactly. Right? But this Rodman thing worked out perfectly.
And it's also due to the fact that he's a natural heel.
Yeah.
Like, this time, 1997, he's already like a 5-time NBA champion.
That's right.
He's
released a book.
Yeah, he's going through his whole like weird phase where he's coming in with different color hair and missing games to show up to WCW and shit. Yeah. So he already has this heelish nature to him outside of the ring.
That's right.
So the fact that he's coming in and he gets to be a heel, and he gets to be a heel with Hogan, who's just on God mode in terms of heels.
Absolutely.
Everything's just pairing nicely. And you give him, this isn't Kevin Green where you're pairing him with Mongo, who also doesn't know how to wrestle. You're pairing him with Luger and with the Giant, who we know can go.
Or competent, yes. And Hogan is your master psychologist.
Exactly. And you even have Randy Savage on the outside.
Who I'm sure was just telling him spots and when to cue. Like, you probably needed him on the outside.
Giving him some extra steps.
Get in now.
So he's with a good group of guys that are going to make sure that he's not fucking up. And even when he does, they know what to do.
They know to save him. And so the big question, I think, a huge one that could be debated for ages. I want to hear some people on Twitter. I want to hear some feedback at the Colossal Tussle 1.
Yeah, Twitter, YouTube as well.
That's right. I want to know, what do we like more from our main events? Do we like more wrestling quality, or do we like more entertainment for our value? Mm-hmm. John, what say you? Wrestling or sports entertainment?
Here's the thing.
Exclusive to main events, not whole show quality. Let's go exclusive to main events.
Okay, that's fair. Because for the way I like my wrestling for my main events, I like entertainment. I lean towards let's just do the goofiest, most over the top. Like let's really lean into the entertainment part. And it doesn't even have to be goofy, even if it's like ending a storyline or something. Yes. I like the main event to have just that extra like entertainment factor. I like the beginning of my wrestling to be more, wrestling based.
Yes.
The opening, the middle. But my main events, I like them to be more entertainment based. Yeah. Because I don't want to watch wrestling.
Entertainment man.
Yeah, because I'm a fan of pure wrestling, but I don't want to watch an entire pay-per-view from start to finish with just like hard-hitting wrestling. Wow. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And I will watch it, but I prefer, like most of the pay-per-views that I can remember that I loved have always had that last match just being the end to something. Yeah.
So you will take a Rodman Hogan versus Luger Giant.
Yes.
Over an Okada Jay White any day.
Yes.
Well, look at you.
Listen, you can give me the Okada Jay White like right before, like the co-main event. But I like my main events to just have that extra entertainment in it.
Big Daddy versus Haystacks Calhoun. That's what brings you to the dance.
Don't get me started on 80s wrestling. Now, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think we wouldn't be where we are without entertainment main events.
I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
I would say, your bang for your buck was always a Hogan main event that went about 8 minutes and did 4 moves, and you were proud to be there. But even still, you take a look at the Austin era. You take a look at the Austin era and his main events. They were never 5-star classics.
No.
A couple of them were against Vince McMahon.
Well, look at the last WrestleMania.
That's right.
One of the biggest talking points was Austin versus McMahon, even though McMahon's like 95. And
exactly.
Austin's in his fucking 70s, right?
And even the main event of WrestleMania Night 1 was Austin and Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, the bang for your buck for me has always been entertainment. And I echo your things exactly. All of my favorite pay-per-views have always been sports entertainment main events or very sports entertainment based things. And I'm always a man for story.
Exactly.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. I will hang my hat on a story-driven matchup than a 5-star classic.
Because that's my thing with the entertainment aspect of it. With just pure wrestling, okay, cool, you guys can have this amazing 1-hour Iron Man match, but for me, what I see more value in is, can you tell a story and at the same time pull that off, right?
Yes.
So, this main event probably wasn't the most technical, but it was the funnest match on the card.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's the one that's going to keep you talking and make you want to be like, okay, well, now I got to tune into Nitro because what the fuck was that at the end of the pay-per-view?
And quite honestly, of every pay-per-view that we've had so far, best main event?
I would have to look back, but it's
WCW.
up there. Oh, yeah.
For WCW,
yeah.
Because I would say the Hollywood Hogan Savage at Halloween Havoc 96, our first pay-per-view. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
But besides that, I think for entertainment and wrestling value, I mean, Hogan and Piper at Starrcade was fine, but the Giant and Hogan at NWO sold out. The triple threat battle royal thing.
That's true. This actually might be.
This might be the best one for entertainment. It's crazy to say.
You know what? Because I keep thinking of matches, but none of them were the main event. So I think for main event purposes, this might be at least top 3. Yeah. Top 2, top 3.
I would say so.
Main events.
And that's something to say for a match involving a celebrity. That's quite the thing. So WCW may have knocked this one out the park, but let's see when we get into our match of the night, standout star, and overall show grade. So, what do you have for me, and why, Just John? Kick it off with the match of the night.
Match of the night, Dragon Jericho. I'm not sure if it's because I've seen this match a couple times already.
Could be.
But every time I see it, I've always loved it. The main event was really, really good. But I know you're going to pick it, so I want to switch it up a little bit.
I see.
Piper Flair was good as well. But for me, this is the one that kind of takes the cake in just match purposes. My standout star, I got Luger. I've had Luger a couple times already. Now. Yeah, I'm loving his push. I'm loving that even though he's not getting the title shot that he deserves, they're still giving him the wins.
Yeah, still building momentum. Yeah, he is now beaten Hogan decisively.
Yeah,
with that rack.
Hopefully, we get to see a Luger fight for the title soon.
Hopefully.
And then my overall show grade is 4 out of 5. The Mortis match was decent. It wasn't terrible, but it was decent. Steiners versus NWO Japan was a great match. Jericho Ultimo Dragon, I already said. Match of the night. The trios tag match was a nice little middle of the pay-per-view little palate cleanser. There's really no bad matches on this card. Kevin Sullivan was super fun.
Fantastic.
The tag match, even though Kurt Hennig wasn't what we expected, it was still pretty good. Flair Piper, the main event. There's literally no bad match except for the first one. And if you like that sort of goofy stuff, this might be a 5 out of 5.
This might be.
But I have it at a good 4 out of 5 stars.
Solid 4 out of 5. All right. Fantastic. Match of the night for me, Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair.
Oh, I was wrong.
All day, every day. I forget every time how good that match is. I get sucked in all over again. It was the one match that I had to watch twice. Because the first time I didn't take a single note. I completely fucking was sucked in. I was gone. Ric Flair made Roddy Piper look like $1 million, and he is my standout star. And then my overall show grade, have to agree with you, 4 out of 5.
Yep.
I mean, this is a incredible show coming off of the last pay-per-view that we had to deal with. Good God. That show was horrible. This show, absolutely fantastic. I loved every minute of it. The opening match was what it was. But at least we got through with that, and we were all good to go. From that point on, amazing business. But yeah, that is our show. And on the next edition, you'll be happy to know that we will be reviewing Monday Nitro from August the 4th, in which Lex Luger takes on Hollywood Hogan for that World Championship.
Finally. Jesus.
Yeah, the WCW title is on the line. It is one of the best Nitros of the calendar year, and we will be exploring that main event. I am looking very much forward to it, Just John.
Me too. I can't wait. I've been saying Lex Luger it's time for him to finally get his shot. So next episode, we're going to review that.
Exactly. And I have never watched the show in its entirety, so we shall see what happens. But until then, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Colossal Tussle podcast. Where can they find us?
Follow us on Twitter at the Colossal Tussle 1, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you can listen to podcasts at the Colossal Tussle, YouTube as well at the Colossal Tussle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can find us everywhere. We're on the Spotifys. We're on the Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Google, Amazon Music, Audible, all sorts of business. We're in multiple countries. Everybody's listening to us. Everybody is down with the Tussle tandem. So, for KJ Johnson and Just John, thank you very much. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Say bye to the people.
Say bye to the people.
Say bye, people.
What?
Bye, people.
Yeah.
Yeah? Finland, would you like to say bye to the people?
Yes.
Okay.
Bye, people.
There you go.
Bye, people.
And that was the Colossal Tussle podcast live from Shea Kindergarten. And until next time, we are out.
Thank you.